Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Who Dat Weekly feature, the Dirty Dev's finest, Christopher J. Spires. Woo! Alright, I'm ready to talk some more football today, y'all. Are you guys ready for some more football? I sure am. I wish football season started, but here we are. It's only June, but the good news is we're inching closer to training camp, which also means we're inching closer to preseason, which also means, you got it, we're inching closer to the season. So could the month of June please hurry up and just fast forward? That would be great. Please and thank you. So anyway, we're going to be talking some more Saints football today. We're going to be talking about what's going on in Saints minicamp while continuing to keep our eyes on the current quarterback battle. We're also going to be talking about my favorite position groups on the team currently, and I'm ranking them respectively as they are from best to worst. But I'm going to do my top three, and I'll probably throw in an honorable mention towards the end. But before we get into all that content, it's time for your special ad for the day. So, if you have a kid that is struggling in school, I highly recommend you check out Inspired Learning. Yes, sir. They are a private tutoring and educational consulting services for the students on all of North Shore, Louisiana. And they tutor kids from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, and they also do cover GED and some college. On top of that, they also help with preparing your kid for the ACT if your kid's preparing for college and all that. Absolutely recommend it. They are the best on the North Shore. If you like I said, if you need to check them out, you can find their Facebook page here. They are also currently offering summer tutoring. So, and if you have a kid that didn't do too well during their school semester, but they want to bring their grades back up to good graces, call them immediately. They are there to help you out. They will offer all sorts of summer tutoring. They cover all the same subjects as I just mentioned already. Give them a call, give them a text. I don't care what you do, but give them a call, and you will not regret it because they are the best of the best. So, with that being said, let's get into today's Dat Datter's question. So, which position group on this team is your favorite? Comment below what you think. I'll repeat it again. Which position group on this team is your favorite group? And how do you rank them? Alright, so with that being said, let's get into the episode today. So, as we know, the ongoing Saints minicamp is well underway, and it's only for a couple days, and then the players all get a couple weeks off before training camp goes into full-blown training camp. That was not clever whatsoever, but I don't care. But we're really excited that we're just inching closer to training camp after minicamp, because usually after minicamp, there's that 5-6 week slump of absolutely nothing going on. It's just us theorizing, just talking about what the Saints could do, what they could be like, what the players might be like, etc. It's fun to talk about, but, at some point during that 5-6 week stretch, we're like, okay, can we please see some football, for Pete's sake? Come on, man. But minicamp will just give us a slight idea, a very slight idea of what this team could look like, because usually during minicamp, all the players are there because it's mandatory stuff. But the ones that are there, they may not be able to participate. Like, for example, Taysom Hill, he can't participate because he's still nursing that leg injury that he had late last season that caused him to miss the rest of the season. And there'll be a few other players that will be there, but they're just watching. They don't actually participate, but they have to be there anyway. But with that being said, what's good is that everybody pretty much is present there. We see Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Alontae Taylor. I mean, the list goes on. And we get to see some of the rookies that we've covered. For example, Tyreen Powell. He's out there. He was one of those. He's one of those undrafted rookies I've covered in a previous video who shows a lot of promise, and I'll touch up on that later on. Another rookie like Danny Stutzman. And then, of course, you got your running backs in Devin Neal. I keep saying Kevin Neal. Apparently, it's Devin Neal. My apologies, y'all. And also undrafted running backs such as what is that kid's name? Marcus Yarns. I had to think about that for a minute. And of course, the quarterback battle between Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, which we're going to talk about right this minute. So, from what I've been hearing lately from all good boys, Nick Underhill and Ross Jackson, shout out to the both of them. They're the Saints beat reporters and analysts and whatnot, the insiders essentially. They've been reporting to the best of their abilities of what they see at minicamp, and it's been a lot of good things, especially towards Spencer Rattler, which excites me the most because I'm a believer in Spencer Rattler. Do I acknowledge that he has faults? Yes, absolutely. So I'm not going to be like one of those supreme bias blind Spencer Rattler stands, as they call him. I know what he's made. I know his pros and I know his cons. And because I'm a Saints fan first, I don't give a crap about the players. I do give a crap about the players. Let me rephrase that. Like, I don't give a crap about being a fan of a player. Just, if you're on the Saints, great. If you're not, well, I'm sorry that your life is terrible because you're not. So, Saints fan all the way, baby. That's right. So, but going back to the subject at hand. So, Spencer Rattler versus Tyler Shough. Both of them have so far shined out really well. And a good good little stat that Ross Jackson picked up on with some red zone stats. Tyler Shough in the red zone during their practice was 22 for 28, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, essentially. Spencer Rattler was 24-28, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Hunter Deckers guy, they didn't have anything about him yet. Maybe he wasn't there that day, I don't know. But those two in particular, really impressive stats. I have to say, like, if that was an actual game, that would be amazing stats to begin with. Now, but we have to take for a grain of salt because, it's OTAs and minicamp. That doesn't really count. The real deal is really with training camp, the preseason, and, of course, the regular season itself. So, yeah, we have to take it for a grain of salt for that aspect of things. But it does give us an idea what these two could be made of. And what I've been really the most impressed so far has been with Spencer Rattler. The kid just shows up determined to win that spot. And he's doing everything right and everything in his power to win that spot. Now, of course, it will not be said and done until training camp wraps up and when preseason wraps up. We will know by then who's the actual starter. Do I still think Tyler Shough gets the nod? Absolutely, because I just think because we all know that Kellen Moore's going to want his guy in the end. But if Spencer Rattler continues this trend, this track that he has made for himself, he could easily win that starting position. And I would be thrilled if he did, because I know he's got a lot to prove. I know he's got a lot of talent there, a lot of raw talent. The problem was he had the worst case scenario last season where he had Walmart players, DoorDash players, Uber driver players. Like, he had all the wrong players out there. And then you got great value Sean Payton out there. That's right, I said it. I call out former interim coach great value Sean Payton. Yeah, like, he tried his best, but he's nothing compared to him. And then we got that trash can Dennis Allen, the coach before he was fired. That didn't make any sense, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So like, you're not gonna win games at all with that group, like, at all. So it only makes sense for that he's actually with a coach that, one, is offensive genius, two, is a quarterback guru, some kind of like quarterback counselor, if you want to call it that. I don't know. But he's with an offensive staff that on paper could be really good. again, I'm just theorizing, hypothesizing here. I could be flat out wrong. Because I'm trying to like hype this team up to the best of my abilities, but at the same time, I'm a realist. So I see a lot of flaws in this team. Like, my most concerns is with the wide receiver group, which we'll touch up on later. And it's just in the running back room, while we have Alvin Kamara, who's going to be backing up Alvin Kamara, what's that going to look like? Again, we'll touch up on that later. With a lot of question marks on this team. So, like, I'm hyping up certain players because I see a lot of promise in them. But at the same time, we have to play the wait and see game and wait and see how they do with pads on and full-blown practice, full steam ahead sort of thing. We got to just wait and see. So, while it's great and encouraging to see that they have made several improvements to themselves during the course of this offseason, we have to take that for a grain of salt because we don't want to like set ourselves up for disappointment, essentially. So yeah. So with that being said, it's encouraging nonetheless to see that these two guys are just balling out in practice. Especially Spencer Rattler, very proud of him. I'm glad he's like taking this initiative to like really show himself out. And Tyler Shough, he's doing pretty well for a rookie quarterback entering his first year in the NFL. So I'm really eager to see how the both of them play this coming season. And I'm just, like I said in earlier this video, can the season please hurry up now? Come on, man. So. But yeah, those were that's like the current takeaway from minicamp right now. Both quarterbacks are shining well. Spencer Rattler has shown a lot of improvements with his arm talent and decision making, while Tyler Shough is showing that deep ball accuracy and that and of course the decision making as well. So it's just encouraging to see how both of them are progressing. So. With that being said, let's get into the position groups concepts. So, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the question was, which is your favorite position group on this team currently? I'm gonna list my favorite along with two others, and then I'll add an honorable mentions later on. So, now, which position group do I think is the worst on this team? I think that's a given answer. I'm going to throw in the receivers group. Yeah. Might be a little controversial, but here's what. Because we all saw last season how Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed both went down, and goodness gracious, did that impact the team bad. Like, it was terrible. We just saw these garbage players, with the exception of Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who's no longer with the team. We just saw these garbage players just do absolutely nothing. There was maybe one other bright spot, and that's Bub Means, who has shown some potential. And I'm just saying potential because he also went down early last season, so we didn't really get to see how he would have played out the rest of the last season. So that's already a big question mark, is can that kid stay healthy? We'll find out this season. But they're the worst in my group because they just look so bad out there. Like, the guys that we currently have were just terrible. Now, my hope is that maybe they'll be a lot better under this new offensive scheme that we got going on under Coach Kellen Moore. And my hope is that we would just continue to, like, grow as an offense. And, like, these young guys would continue to learn the ropes of the new offense. And there's going to be obvious bumps in the road, so I'm expecting that. But if they just, like, grow and maybe by the mercy of God that Bub Means ends up being like a solid receiver 3 instead of Brandon Cooks, who's obviously old and getting ready to like just call it a career eventually, it would be really good to know, because it would save the Saints a boatload of money on like finding a new receiver, like either out of free agency or maybe, I don't know, sign either Sheed or Olave, because both of them have contracts coming up where they go to one bigger paychecks essentially. And yeah, so they're the worst in my opinion. So now let's go ahead and get into my top 3 favorite. Starting with the third one, I'm going to mention, this might be a little controversial to most Saints fans, but my top three, my number 3 on my list of best position groups on this team is the O-line. Here's why. As I mentioned in my last video, the O-line has potential on paper, in theory, that they could be a really solid force to reckon with. Am I saying they're the top best in the NFL? Absolutely not, because we all saw how that went last season. Like, they had 3 solid games, and then suddenly everybody got injured, and we're just absolutely garbage. So, obviously, the best skill players on the O-line as we speak is obviously Eric McCoy. That's a given. And then next would be Tuliez Fuega. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So that's the second best player on this team. I'm throwing in Cesar Ruiz, even though he's been kind of hit or miss throughout his entire career, but he has shown some good things that I like. So I'm putting him as the third best lineman on that team. So the only real question marks are the rookie Kevin Banks Jr., who I should have high hopes for him because he was one of Texas's best players last season, and last 2-3 seasons combined. And then on top of that, you got Trevor Penning, who's going to be a huge question mark because what is he going to look like in his now newfound home and is on the right side of the O-line, whereas last season he was on the left side. So that's going to be interesting to see. And what gets me hoping that is that he's showing a lot of confidence on that right side already. And he's even mentioned himself that he feels really good. He feels really confident in what on that side of the line, because whereas before he was very open and honest that he was not confident whatsoever on the other side that he was in or what he was doing beforehand. But maybe because he's got actual offensive-minded coaches that know what they're doing, unlike the last group that we had last season, maybe that plays a factor. Again, we'll have to see. I have to see it before my own 2 eyes here at training camp and preseason to really determine that for myself. So, but they're top 3 in my opinion because I think they have the best. They have the third best talent out there. So, the second group I would throw out there that is my second favorite is the linebacker group. So, with the obvious exception, not exception, but the obvious 2 being Pete Werner and Demario Davis. I should have reversed that, but you know what I'm talking about. They're the 2 best linebackers on this team, followed by Jalen Ford, DeMarco Jackson, Tyreen Powell, Danny Stutzman, Zach Wood. Not Zach Wood. Excuse me, wrong guy. Isaiah Stalebird. I don't like. It doesn't sound great, especially that last one. There's a few others that I think they're more like backups or practice squad players. But the thing is, like Demario Davis, we all know him. He's a All Pro for a reason. And Pete Werner has shown a lot of potential. Problem with him is he can't stay healthy to save his life. So I'm hoping this season will be different. But when he's out there, he's a force to reckon with. Now, a few of the honorable mentions would be like Tyreen Powell, who's just a rookie, an undrafted rookie for that matter. However, based off the highlight tape that I showed in the undrafted free agents video that I made earlier last month, it shows that he can track the ball well, he can stop the run really well, he can shut you down in an instant, and he can go after the ball when it's like live or free or simply picked off. Isaiah Stalebird, I'm thinking about he's probably more like a practice squad guy. But Danny Stutzman, let's talk about him. Yes, he's another rookie, and I covered him already before, but he was one of our drafted players from this past draft. He shows a lot of promise, too, because he's much like Tyreen Powell, he can track you down instantly. I would say his weakness is like maybe in the pass protection part of the game, but I'm sure Brandon Staley, our defensive coordinator. I think it's Brandon Staley. I know it's Staley for that matter. But I know for a fact that his scheme should work in his favor because that's kind of something similar that Danny ran back in Oklahoma. So it's like we have a lot of talent on this linebacker depth chart that really speaks out to me the most. And I'm really excited to see how how they perform in this new revamped defense that we're getting next season. So that's why they're top two and they're number two in my favorite categories of position player categories. So, and then number one for me, believe it or not, it's not quarterback. I mean, I've been critical about the quarterback position, even though I've been ranting and raving about this for the first half of this video. But the real number one group, in my opinion, is the running back room. So we all know Alvin Kamara, easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. That's the given. He's the best out there. But we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We got Kendre Miller. We got new acquisitions in Devin Neal, Marcus Yarns. We have Xavier Valade, who is hit or miss. I would go as far as to say that. So, but the talent in that running back room is just amazing. Like, clearly they're the best position group on this team. Anyone say otherwise, well, I think you're a little nuts. So, like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, now some people will be kind of critical about that because they say, well, he lost his starting job back in Kansas City. There is some context, like he got into some law trouble a little bit. Well, not like he was defending himself and he shot the criminal that was trying to like attack him or something, and it kind of messed with his head. So it's like it's a mental thing that he went through. So it's like I can understand that I'm understanding of that to that aspect of things. So it's like I don't want to like criticize him too much because even though he only played I think like a whopping 2 games with us last season, he still has a lot of talent that I still see in him. Like he was still one of Kansas City's best running backs before he went on that little hiatus the last 2 years. So it's just I believe him enough to think that he should be able to make this team. But then comes the question of Kendre Miller. Now, Kendre Miller has been the number 2 back for the last 2 seasons. 2 seasons, excuse me. But the problem with him is like he shows that talent on the field, but instantly gets injured shortly afterwards. So how can we really rely on him to be the running back 2 again coming next season? So, and I mentioned this in my running back video a while back, but I still firmly believe that we should cut Kendre Miller and promote either Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or if we want to be risky, let's promote Devin Neal because I think he's the better rookie out of everybody else that's behind Alvin Kamara. Now Marcus Yarns will be an interesting subject to talk about because he shows a lot of qualities that Alvin Kamara has. And I showed some tape of his on that same video that I mentioned already. So if you haven't seen that video, go to my channel and check it out. But he shows a lot of Alvin Kamara qualities that I really, really like. So, but do I see him as a running back 2 kind of player? Probably not. But I could see him as a running back 3 where he would be a very useful back in this style of offense that we're running now. So, and I could theorize how this whole thing could go. Like, they could end up cutting Clyde Edwards-Helaire and keep Kendre Miller. And I would still have like a similar thought process. Or like the talent on the running back room is just there, and I love everything about this running back room. The thing is mainly like health for Kendre Miller, the availability for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and how good is Devin Neal, Marcus Yarns, Xavier Valade. How good are they really against actual starters? Only time will tell. So, but yeah. So, those were my top 3. My honorable mentions, I would say, would be the safety room. Now, the safety room consists of Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, Jonas Sanker, who's a rookie from Virginia, and Elliot Davison, who's also a rookie from UTSA. They're honorable mentions for a reason. Tyrann Mathieu, as we saw last year, he's getting pretty old. And I assume this is his last year with us. And while I love Tyrann Mathieu to death, I know he's getting old. How much longer does he really have left in the tank? I don't know. But only time will tell. Now, Justin Reed came from the Chiefs. He's been really good with the Chiefs. So he's I would assume he's going to be instantly a starter on this team. I mean, no doubt about that. Now, Jonas Sanker is a rookie who I saw his tape, and he looks pretty solid. He looks pretty good on tape. Question is, how is he going to adjust to the speed and the physicality of that is the NFL? Only time will tell. Because, rookie safeties and cornerbacks, they get burned the most because they're trying to adjust to how the NFL style of play is. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does. And same thing with Elliot Davidson. And he's coming from a much lesser school, but same scenario. How is he going to adjust? Only time will tell. We'll find out come this season. That's why they're on my honorable mentions list, because while they have some really good talent there, but they have some unproven talent I just can't get on board with quite yet. And they have an aging superstar safety that is just on the brink of retirement. So, but yeah. So, that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen last week's video, just click on the link below, or click on the channel below, and you'll find it quite easy. Or just wait to the end of this video; it'll pop up in that one link there. So, but thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to talk some more football next week. All right, catch you guys later. Who Dat Datter?